Okay, so just to get started, I saw a video by the creator Ola in a Million. I have notes down here, so I'll be looking down a lot. And I believe it was titled Niche Things That I Think Are Cool. And I also saw like another video. I haven't quite watched that one yet. Um, but I really loved like the idea, so I just wanted to give her the credit for that before I kind of got into, my list of things that I think are like niche, chic, cool. I'll be putting like photos and stuff on the screen as I'm talking. But these things include fashion, design, architecture. I don't know if I'll put any music things on here, but maybe I'll add that on here too. But yeah, I have a list of things that I'm going to talk about that I love, that I think are niche, that I think are chic, that I think are cool, specifically off of the things that I love. The first thing that I have on my list here is Hime cuts. I was trying so hard to find out what the name of the cut was because I've been seeing the cuts on specific like influencers or just like on Pinterest, and I just think it's so chic. It's so, I don't know if I could use this word on YouTube, but T. Yeah, it's very like alt, you know? And I love when black women specifically too do those cuts. It just looks so chic. It reminds me of the magazines that used to be in like the beauty salons, like growing up in black beauty salons. Like if you open any of those books and you see like the fun spikes or like the angular or asymmetrical cuts, Hime cuts just remind me of that. I love them so much. I don't know if I would try it myself. Stay tuned, who knows, but I thought it was, I think it's very interesting. Second on the list, I have pleats. So think of like plisse pleats. Something about them, especially like in the past year or so, like I've fallen in love with pleats, specifically like accordion pleats or like again plisse pleats. Something about them, I just feel like they're so chic. They give me the vibe of like easygoing fashion, small details. I really enjoy small details in outfits. Sometimes I love a little pop of color or, fun pattern. For the most part, I think pleats are really attractive to me because it's simple and pretty down to earth. So the pleats kind of add like, those special little touches of character to me. And I love texture as well. And when I'm getting dressed, like as you can see, I have on this little fuzzy hat. But I love playing with texture. So plisse pleats or accordion pleats, I love. Next that I have on this list is the Row. So if you're not familiar with the Row, okay, I wanted to say their names correctly. Ashley Olsen and Mary Kate Olsen, established in 2006, but they're like ready to wear clothes. They have like handbags, I think shoes as well. I don't know that they have like a huge like online presence on Instagram. From the last time I checked was like a really long time ago. Post stuff on Instagram, but not much. But as far as just like their aesthetic, they're very minimalistic, very fine-tuned pieces. Just am in love with, and I hope to own some pieces from the Row one day because they're just iconic. And even if we just talk about Ashley and Mary Kate for a second and like their style, if you've ever seen like their street style, I think it's very unique to them and it very much so matches their vibe. Very minimalistic, very European style, very put together, very timeless, very chic. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but I'm going to try. Chiari voliani and her jewelry, I freaking am in love. I've been seeing some photos of her on Pinterest and like the chunky silver jewelry, the rings, and her in general, she's just gorgeous, but like the whole vibe, it just reminds me of like aging and still being cool as hell. I am a huge jewelry person, so the specific style of jewelry that she does, and it's like statement jewelry, I'm just in love with it. I think it's very chic, I think it's very cool. I feel like I've seen a lot of things like lately with jewelry brands trying to like recreate something similar to that. I think it's very special. So, love her. I did want to say one other thing about Chiari. She is an Italian independent designer, which again, I think is just very special that, I don't know, I feel like she's getting a lot of love on like Pinterest and other apps, and like people are probably looking to her for, I guess, inspiration. Even myself, like for inspiration. as far as like, you know, timeless chic looks. Very distinctive. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that if anybody wants to look her up, to all the independent designers, because I know that cannot be easy. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Elise Johnson.
I'm realizing I believe it's pronounced Elise Johnson sunglasses. So as you watch this, please forgive me.
Sunglasses. This is, again, very specific, very niche, I guess. But and I know like maybe over like the past year or so, like people have been talking about it, like as far as like the fashion girlies like on their channel. But specifically, I just love the cut of the aviator style glasses that they have. And I just realized that they did them in optical. So coming soon probably, depending on like if my prescription can fit it, because I have really bad vision. But I am in love with like the cut of them. They really took their time with the design. I just think they're very chic and very cool, like very throw on, and you can make any outfit like 10 times better. I'm also an accessory person too, but I just wanted to mention them because I'm freaking in love with their style glasses. They're like a modern version of like the retro style that we all love. Okay, this next one, Sandy Liang, and her designs and her overall brand is really fun to me. Just brings back wanting to get dressed in pink and like have bobos in my hair. And I think the brand itself does like a wonderful job of bringing that across to their. Love Sandy Liang, the branding, how cutesy and fun and girly it is. I noticed for myself specifically, I've been getting back into like the color pink. I think part of that is the inspiration from like Sandy Liang, and then also like, I think I'm going to talk about Miu Miu next. Kind of dislike that we label everything, but in this case, it kind of helps me talk about it a little bit more. I would have to say like, the ballet flats and the bows and just the satin, what else is popular, looks are just fun. So since I'm already talking about that, like I said, I've mentioned Miu Miu, and I haven't really kept up with them in the past few years, but more so just like recently. Some of their recent collections just have been really interesting. I think the target audience is very much so like the sort of prep look. I'm looking at this jacket and it looks like a Carhartt jacket, but it's like a cropped Miu Miu, or like these little boxer shorts, or skinny glasses that they're doing that the girlies have been loving for like the office core looks. That's what I was trying to get into, like the office core looks, sling back. Over the past few years, the kitten heels have like come back into style, but I just remember growing up playing in my mom's clothes in her closet and seeing how kitten heels she had. It's like doing a big wraparound. And like the style of leather bags that they have are very Arcadia. I think that's the word I've been looking for to try to explain things that I've seen from Miu Miu. But it still kind of relates and ties into feelings around Sandy Liang. I did want to touch on that. Next, we're transitioning a little bit, but Facebook Marketplace for vintage. Again, very random, but I think it's so cool. As a person who loves vintage and loves to find things secondhand, I think it's so cool that you can literally just go on Facebook Marketplace and find like the most iconic pieces. I found some amazing pieces, like that mirror in the back. I found that on Facebook Marketplace. This couch that I'm sitting on is from Facebook Marketplace, and it's like Bellini dupe. I found a mid-century modern, like low-sitting, my dream bed that I was looking for literally months. I found that on Facebook Marketplace, and I just think it's so interesting and cool. We can like not waste things and also pass things on that we don't want anymore to the next person to appreciate. And specifically for vintage, but like also just generally like cool things are on Facebook Marketplace. Just check out your local Facebook Marketplace. People are usually super nice, and I don't know, I've had great experiences. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you're not into it, get into the lore. Please dig into your local Facebook Marketplace. See what vintage items you can find. Sometimes you can even negotiate. The next thing I want to talk about is fun homeware. I love fun homeware. Dusen is a brand that I really, really admire, and it just brings joy to my heart, like seeing their pieces. I'm looking on their website right now. Bathrobes, for example. Like, I know we're talking about homeware, but they also have like bathrobes. Like, I want one so bad. Just love taking home items and making them fun. That's why I like IKEA stuff, like even like IKEA's vintage. Like, I've had a few like vintage IKEA pieces, and I really love them because they're like fun colors and shapes, and brings excitement back into a home where like we've low-key been in an era of like stark white, gray. Obviously now we're leaning back into like mid-century design a lot, and it's very popular now. But at least for the past few years, it's been stark white minimalism, at least from things that I've seen, and it's just nice. And it's fun to see a brand is focusing on like fun color, and I just really admire them. They even have like bed sheets and stuff like that. I really admire their take on and design of bringing joy into your home, I guess is all I can say. This coffee's good. So next on my list is Solange's glassware collection. I love that she digs into different aspects and avenues of art, molds things together, even like fashion and art and like cinematography with like some of her videos, if you've seen those. That could be another topic for another day, but specifically the glassware collection that she launched like a while ago, reminiscent of like 70s glassware. It just also somehow reminds me of home design generally, if that makes sense. So think about if you went to mom's house and your mama's house back in the day and they had like the glassware in the freaking cabinet, if you know what I'm talking about. That's what it reminds me of, modern version of that, again, but also reminiscent of like the 70s. It's very unique, very fun. I love Solange, and I think the glassware collection is something that I would love to have in my home. It's in 2023, I'm seeing. Designed by Sabless Days. Wow. The glassware collection is very impressive, and I think it was just also cool. I think I saw on Twitter that there was some type of event and they had her glassware there. Again, I could be wrong, but if I can find the information, I'll just put it on the screen here. But I just think it's so chic and so cool. You know, even though she's a singer, songwriter, etc., that she like branches out into other avenues and kind of meshes and brings things together. The next thing that I want to talk about is warm interiors and mood lighting. I love mood lighting, and again, this is kind of wrapping around like all the home stuff that I have been talking about, but I love mood lighting. Mood lighting for me, it's a tone of whatever I'm doing, but also it just brings calming energy into the home. Red, orange, yellow, but not too much yellow because yellow can be kind of stark. But like those warmer tones, to me, also remind me of like stages of mood. So I feel like lighting affects that as well. It helps me get cozy, but generally I just love the way it looks. Except for that one, I don't really have much to say. What I love is like candles as decor. These candles from Hobby Lobby that are like color changing, and like just lighting them, letting them burn down a little bit, and then like I can see all the wax colors, or even those like in front of the fireplace that I've seen. I'll put some pictures on the screen. I just think it's very chic, very fun to add like decor, or even the tablescapes with all of the flowers and the candles, and it's really a decor moment. It's just basically for aesthetics, sometimes for lighting purposes. It's also really great. But generally, I just love the way it looks. I think it's very cool. Okay, green tiling. This is so random, but very specific. But green tiling, I really love like the emerald green or like the deep green tones that people have been using. Bathroom renovations. I'm very into like home design and architecture and things like that. So that's kind of where that stems from. But specifically, I've seen a lot of bathrooms that people do, or even painting the color of the wall. So I guess just the color of like the deep tones that people are using in like bathrooms or in kitchens with like green tiling. Very specific thing, but I think it's pretty cool. I've said mid-century a million times in this video, so it's obvious that I love mid-century design. I did kind of probably go through a phase of like minimal design like early on when I was just learning about architecture and design a little bit, which I think still has its place in my mind, but for the most part I love warm interiors and thought out homes and like warm colored wood, and like those things just make me feel good. So of course we're going to talk about mid-century homes. Okay, tree design just reminds me of function and also taste coming together and making a beautiful baby. Hey, what can I say? Well, another one personal for me that I think is very cool, very chic, is scrapbooking and collaging. So scrapbooking and collaging is very, very cool to me. So scrapbooking specifically, I feel like it's a way to like take pieces in little moments of your life and have like physical like memories of those things. So like even as a forward photo. I keep receipts and I put them in my scrapbook. I've seen very, very cool and unique scrapbooks, and I think it's just a really cool way of like expression arts and crafts as adults. I remember probably doing that as a kid in a similar way or as a teenager, but I think it's a really cool way for us to tap into like our creativity and like also keep memories, because everything is digital now, so it's nice to have like things on paper to have memories. And you know, same thing with collaging for me, is also like a really fun outlet. Specifically, I'll do like vintage magazines. I know y'all probably gonna hate me for cutting up vintage magazines, but it's mine to cut up. So I do have some that I don't, but yeah, specifically vintage magazines, so as to make like, I don't know, I feel like what I do is like kind of like art pieces, but also it's just fun to kind of like piece things together, something that was on a page, and make it into like something that's yours. People should collage and save the physical media or just collect magazines. I think it's very fun. It's a way to like take pieces of the past and like put them together, kind of similar to like what I feel about scrapbooking, keeping memories. I want to add to the list, it's not on my like list that I have here, but photos, like Polaroid photos or whatever. And I'm putting them in like this vintage book that I found. So that's another thing that I think is like niche and cool. I know a lot of people have gotten into like film photography over the years, but also photos and stuff like that, collecting them, being like a family archivist, I think that's how you would say it. I think that's really cool and niche, and that's something that I want to do and I'm trying to work towards. Time for Christmas, saw my family, and I got a stack of photos, and I can't wait to scan them and also put them into my actual book and keep them for memory. Being an archivist, I guess in general, is super, super cool, super niche. But specifically like for my family, kind of eats. Okay, oh, the next one, my love for the Internet Archives. The Internet Archives is the place to be, honey. I love the Internet Archives. I think about the Internet Archives a while ago on TikTok. If I can remember who talked about it, I will put it in this video. But the Internet Archives, specifically what I use it for, they have a lot of scanned media. We don't know how long the Internet Archives is going to be around, but I would just say use it for now. I'm sure there's like pieces written in there that have access to like nearby you to like go to the library and find these things. So like magazines, I think there's like audio on there, I could be wrong, but there's lots of pieces of history, and it goes back pretty far as the Internet Archives. I specifically use them for like collaging purposes and like, you know, yeah, digital collaging and things like that. And you could even print it out if you wanted to, I guess. But the Internet Archives, especially for like artists, people who are into history, historians, media history, I guess specifically, I think it's very cool. Yelling it from the rooftops because I want people to use the Internet Archives, and yeah, for whatever creative endeavor, inspiration, all of the above, the Internet Archives is the place to be. This is the last one on my list, is very specific. I'm a music lover though, so some of y'all might know, whatever. But Soulection, I love Soulection. Soulection has been playing or been going on for like years and years. I've been listening to Soulection, I feel like maybe since I was in high school. I'll have to fact check that. But it's now like a full on like radio situation where like different DJs come on and showcase their talent. The aesthetics are great on like the actual videos that they have on YouTube. Some of the designs of the home that I've seen that they're in or wherever the backdrops are like super cool to see. But again, I'm a music lover first, so even if you're going on SoundCloud to just listen to the Soulection mixes, they're really special. Joe K has a knack for sound and also bringing people together with music and choosing DJs that kind of align with the similar vibe, sound, feel of Soulection. So I wanted to mention Soulection because they have a special, special place in my heart. And yeah, I've been listening to Soulection for years. It's basically like a radio station. On Google specifically, the description is a Los Angeles-based music collective that serves as a platform and community for artists, musicians, and fans across the world. Yes. Okay, that's a better description than what I was saying. But that gives you the gist of what Soulection is. You can also like look it up on YouTube, look up Joe K. The archives go way back. I think that was all on my list. That was on my list. To Olana Million for the inspiration for this video once again. I really had fun talking about these things. I probably was just yapping about nothing, but I hope that you guys who are into, I guess, design, fashion, music, or whatever it may be, I hope that at least one thing sparked your interest and that you know, found some insight on this video. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I may do more videos like this, and I hope you guys come back and watch again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.